Today we had the Prime Minister of Canada, the criminal Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, testify. During the beginning of this, it'll show our Prime Minister talking French, like it's our #1 language here in Canada. Even this gentleman talks French. Let's pay attention to it for a bit.
Alors, c'est la dernière journée pour recevoir les faits pertinents et évidemment, il y aura la...
Do you notice during this time, there is no English going across. There is nothing saying anything about English. This is the confusion of our federal government's corruption. Let's remember, a lot of this testimony was not allowed to be brought in because it would affect our criminal Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Let's continue.
de politique la semaine prochaine.
Can witness be sworn or affirmed? Mr. Prime Minister, will you swear on a religious document or do you wish to affirm?
J'aimerais le faire sur la Bible, s'il vous plaît.
He knows English. He knows English is the #1 language here in Canada. But he does it to confuse people, to make himself look more foolish than what he really is. During all of this time, we're going to see this one lady here be able to ask him over an hour and 10 minutes questions, but everyone else only got 10 minutes. Why do we have the OPP having 10 minutes? Why do we have the mayor of Ottawa having 10 minutes? The mayor of Windsor having 10 minutes? All these other people having 10 minutes when it should be only one person getting that hour, just like the lady here, which is the lawyer for the convoy to Ottawa, who only got to answer 10 questions. We had the Prime Minister, the criminal Prime Minister of Canada, take an extra longer time on his questions. So when a lady from the convoy of the lawyer of Ottawa comes out there and asks him a question, he would take an extra minute to make up more garbage so he didn't have to answer questions. During all this also stupidity, we had the criminal Prime Minister coming out here knowing all the answers to his questions as he's going like a bobblehead doll, like all of them. Like Freeland is behind him going, yeah, I'm a stooge, yeah. Let's watch a bit of this.
Pour les fins de procès verbal, s'il vous plaît, veuillez indiquer et ensuite épeler votre nom en entier.
Oui, j'affirme et Justin Trudeau, JUSTINTRUDEAU.
Jurez-vous que le témoignage que vous allez rendre devant la commission sera la vérité, toute la vérité et rien que la vérité, que Dieu vous mène en aide?
Je l'affirme.
Merci.
What they're saying to him is, sir, do you swear to lie on the Bible because you are the criminal Prime Minister? You are nothing but a fashionist. Are you willing to swear on that? Yes, I am. I am willing to lie on the Bible as the criminal Prime Minister.
Just before we get started, there, as I understand it, as you heard, there will probably be some testimony in English and some in French. So please, if you need translation equipment, you should have it at hand.
We should have it at hand, or should you not provide it? This is the criminal Prime Minister of Canada up on the stands, but we have to have those answers to their stupidity.
Good morning, Prime Minister.
Morning.
Thank you for being here. So we'll start with the routine housekeeping. You recall the...
We're going to see that this lady right now is at the 21 and 26 mark. We're going to fast forward this all the way up to show you how much time this lady gets compared to the rest for this idiot to give over a song and a dance of all of his fake lies during the pandemic. During this video also, nobody was allowed to ask what was inside the vaccination shots. Nobody was allowed to ask anything against the mandates, the mask. All of this was hidden because to protect our criminal prime minister and the rest of the House of Commons.
Reviewed by Commission Council on
She gets to have exactly almost 4 hours of asking this criminal prime minister questions, but the lawyer to the convoy of Ottawa gets 10 minutes of him going on giving a speech.
There are moments where you are saying one thing and he is saying another. Is there anywhere we can help around that? I think that was me expressing that there were different messages coming out of the policing side versus the mayor's.
Like I said, what does the mayor have a right to ask 10 minutes? Why does the OPP have a right to ask 10 minutes? The chief of police has asked 10 minutes. But that lady gets over 3 hours and everybody else gets 10 minutes. Just look at how fast the rest are going. You can see it right here. Just look at it all.
Concerns and
we have to speed it up to get to the realest person out of all of them. This criminal lawyer here does pretty good about asking them questions.
A little bit about considering,
and for some
the
reason,
Emergencies Act to deal with
this guy gets over to ask 20 minutes, and he is the longest
the
person.
pandemic back in March.
Some of the people were like so much that they got to give 10 minutes twice, except for the lawyer to the convoy of Ottawa, who wasn't allowed to ask really anything because they have to protect their criminal prime minister.
By 3 levels of government, we're also not a policing solution. He was right to call attention to the role of government to address this challenge. Agreement across the parties.
They never asked him about the swastika flag that he was calling us all white supremacists for. Justin Trudeau comes out at the end and says that he never ever called one Canadian person a name. Let's get to that.
It's also made
covering the truth is an important role. When difficult events occur that impact the lives of Canadians, the public has the right to know what happened. Certes, l'objectif de l'enquête publique est de faire la lumière sur les faits ou la situation, de faire les recommandations pour que la situation ne se reproduise plus.
The reason why she's talking in French is because the paperwork is in French. This is why the convoy to Ottawa lawyer is talking French.
Let this inquiry be the starting point for all Canadians, and that means all Canadians, including government leaders, to hold the executive branch of Canada to account. If there ever was a time for a Prime Minister to step down, now is that time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And is it time for a prime minister to step down? No, it is time for him to be arrested for crimes against humanity. It is time for him to be arrested for government collusion. It is time for this man to do his time. This emergency act was never called upon. They weren't able to prove it, in my own opinion, because this lady here never got the time. That is the real problem.
It is the beginning of a journey of rediscovering of what it means to be Canadian. The government does not define us, we do. We, the collective of many diverse groups across the country. The protest.
You see, that's where she's wrong. It is not groups across Canada. This wasn't groups across Canada. I am a person who belongs to no groups. I've been an activist against the government for 20 years. I don't belong to any groups. I never will. That is wrong. There were so many of us there that were in the millions who didn't belong to anyone.
Ottawa brought so many Canadians from all different walks of life together. It was an opportunity for reconciliation, for uniting and forging friendships despite so many differences. The protest in Ottawa gave people hope, and it humbled all of us.
What it did was brought people together for the first time, even though they wanted it to be the January 6th of America, even though they tried to make it look like there was so much violence. All the things that the mayor said, all the things that they said about the gun that wasn't even there, wasn't allowed to be asked to this criminal prime minister. This is the saddest day that I ever seen, that if this was America, their CPAC would have been shown a different thing and they wouldn't have got away with this. But our government is so fucking corrupt and so fucking prejudiced against their own people that these fucking clowns are able to get away with calling us terrorists, white supremacists. And we all know I'm white supremacist because my son holding the camera right now is black. This is all just ridiculous. They come after everybody going, this is discrimination, that is discrimination. The only thing I see discriminating is our Canadian government lying to the people out here. If you're going to allow these 500,000 people that they want coming in here to vote for these scumbags to take over our country, we have America right now where the Republicans are getting ready to take over. Do you think that this border over in Mexico is not going to be stopped? You're guaranteed it's going to be stopped. Do you think that our new Conservative Party getting ready to come in is going to be going out there and going, no, we're going to be for all the pandemic? No, you should have been voting for this party right here from the beginning. The PPC party, who has went to jail over the pandemic, who has been arrested over this pandemic, and all of a sudden, our leader has to be fined, go to jail. Well, this guy forces people to do mandates, vaccination shots. Nothing happens to him. Freelane came out there and said on her testimony that she realizes that more people were getting hurt by the vaccination shot. She has taken it 4 times. I'm sure the water went right about this part of the arm, right there. What a disgrace this all is. If you, the people, believe in this fraud, that, this lady here wasn't able to ask real questions, well, you better believe she wasn't. What a disgrace the Canadian government is, that they're going to allow this criminal prime minister down there to get away with everything. Him blaming Doug Ford, well, him and Doug Ford are partners in crime, the duels of deception. He has made deals with Pfizer. He has shares inside of Pfizer, the criminal prime minister of Canada, and we have Doug Ford, his business, making all of the floor products for the pandemic. His business going from 5 million up to $75 million. And you wonder why the state of emergency happened 4 times with him. And of course, the Emergency Act was called to control and put war crimes under their own people, us, the Canadian people. And now we were treated like